welcome to my channel. My name is Joy. Hey folks, my name is Joy and welcome to my channel, Kudos. Today I'm trying a little bit of a different format. Recently I went on Twitter and participated in a Twitter chat with @CollegeFindMeNow all about financial aid. So in this video, I'm going to go over those questions that we were asked and my answers. And I'm going to put those questions up on the screen so you see it. So you won't actually see my face in this video, but you will hear my voice and you will still get my insider answers. But before I get started, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my videos. A lot of what I'll be covering in the coming months is financial aid, scholarships, what to do after you get in, how to prepare for actually going to college, how you should get ready, your thank you notes, financial aid questions for students on their way to college. So I'm going to go through those 7 questions and answers, and by the end of this video, you should have a much better understanding of the basics of financial aid when you're applying to college and once you've got in. So I'm going to get started now. Question number 1. When it comes to college financing, many students and their families are unsure where to begin. What are the initial steps in creating a financial plan? Here's my answer. I think the first thing you should do when you're trying to figure out how much money you need for college, where it's going to come from, whether that be scholarships, grants, or loans, you need to create a budget. In this way, you can calculate exactly how much you need to budget each month or year to cover your tuition, books, living expenses, incidental, a little emergency fund. When you create the budget, you get to see your income, whether it's a little or a lot, and your expenses, whether that's a little or a lot. And so my first recommendation is to always create a budget, and you will get the true cost of college up front. All right, question 2. With so many different types of financial aid available, grant, scholarships, work study, federal and private loans, what do borrowers need to know about these options and how they are different? Well, I'll say the simplest answer is that grant, scholarships, and work study funds don't have to be repaid, meaning if you win a grant, you usually see those a lot in grad school or for longer terms, some multiple years, same with fellowships, or you win a scholarship or you get work study, you don't have to pay any of that money back, private or public, no matter where it comes from, you don't pay that back. With most loans, of course, you have to pay that back, and you will start paying usually once you graduate. So they don't expect you to pay while you're still a student, taking out loans, getting an education, but most lenders expect you to start paying once you graduate. And in some places that may be a percentage of your income. In other places, it's a flat rate, much like any other traditional loan, of course, with interest included. I am a big believer, and I say it is perfectly possible. I've done it to completely fund your education without taking out any loans, meaning whether you choose a state school or an elite private college or an elite state school or a run-of-the-mill private college, it is possible to fund your entire education without taking out any loans, based solely on having scholarships, fellowships, grants, but you got to work at it. So I'm not saying it's easy, but it is possible. Okay, question number 3. As students begin learning about financial planning, students need access to reliable resources. Where can they best find straightforward, comprehensive information about financial aid? You know, I have to speak to this from both perspective of someone who helps students get into college and apply for scholarships, and someone who was a recent grad student and again financed my whole education basically free. I think you got to start with FAFSA, of course, FAFSA, financial application for, I don't know, I'm not even gonna look it up now. FAFSA, which is at studentaid.ed.gov. I think it's great for understanding the basic financial aid process, and it's a nonpartisan, really kind of default go-to source for financial aid in college. And so what I mean by that is you're not going to really have a spin on different options. And so if you want some basic information, that's a good place to start. If you're looking for specifically for scholarships and grants and fellowships, I really like fastweb.com and jlvcollegecounseling.com. And my favorite is the latter, jlvcounseling.com, just because the woman who runs it, she's been doing this work for years, posting scholarships and different opportunities to fund college education, updates it monthly. You can go in and find scholarships by month. So say you're looking for scholarships with a deadline in February 2020, you can go to the site, filter for February, and find every scholarship that has a deadline in February, which helps you in your planning process. You know, I want to apply for these 10 scholarships and they're all due at different points in February. So I should get these ones that are due in January done first. So I really like JLV College Counseling, not only because it's very well organized, but because I've had a lot of success using that website. So fastweb.com, jlvcollegecounseling.com, and then I also like scholarships.com. All good options. Question 4. How do you suggest students figure out which financial aid option will work best for them? I say use the process of elimination. Always go for free money first, meaning scholarships and grants. And if that doesn't work out for you, consider working part-time as an option. So whether that means you get accepted into a work-study program, which is usually based on the financial aid you need, or you take on a part-time job, those are all great options for paying for your education without taking out loans. Again, I'll harp on, I think it's possible to do it all without taking out big loans. Go for the free money first, then maybe think about working part-time. And if all else fails, loans should be your next avenue. All right, question 5. Financial aid planning goes hand in hand with the college admissions process. As students apply to colleges, what is the timeline to learn and apply for each type of aid? Never too early for scholarships and grants, of course. I know and have seen across the web scholarships for kindergartners. They end up having to like paint a picture or write a short story, if you can believe it. So I'd say it's never too early. You can get scholarships for college starting in kindergarten, which is when your 5-year-old first starts school, all the way up to after you graduate and you're already a college student. So you can always apply for scholarships, always be on the lookout. Whether you're in elementary school, middle school, high school, there are scholarships out there for that specific demographic. And then, of course, FAFSA usually opens in October each year, so you can fill that out. You can fill your FAFSA out as soon as the application opens, and I'd say once you've hit submit on your applications, your next step should be FAFSA, and of course writing your thank you notes, but FAFSA is really your next step after you hit submit on your applications. So always, and then October. Question 6, what factors should students and families consider as they compare each college's school aid offer? My answer is you really have to consider how important a good financial aid package is to you versus how important it is for you to attend a certain college. Meaning, if you got a really great financial aid package at Vanderbilt, but you really want to go to USC and not as great a financial aid package, you have an uncle who's in California and you want to get in the film industry perhaps, you still might choose USC even though you didn't get as good a financial aid package. So I think there's some pros and cons and weighing of options that you have to keep in mind. But ultimately, if you're willing to pay more tuition for a college that has like a top ranked degree program in your field, you go to that school. Or, if you want to go to school out of state, you may go for the less appealing option with financial aid packages. But again, have to weigh the pros and cons. Question 7. After securing financial aid, the work is not over. What advice would you give to students to stay on top of their plans and payments throughout college? I have to say, never stop applying for scholarships, grants, and fellowships, as they ultimately can help fund your education for a complete free. And if you haven't gotten the theme of my answers here in my video, is that I'm a big believer in scholarships and grants. It's free money. It's out there. These organizations, private, public, local, regional, national, international, want to give their money away. It looks good on their part. Plus, one of the primary goals of creating a great public society is funding great education. So these awards are always out there. Never stop applying for scholarships, grants, and fellowships. That's my number one advice. Not only that, but some of these scholarships are only available once you're a sophomore or a junior or a grad student or a PhD student. So you always have opportunities out there. And then, just consider your options and the pros and cons, and you will make the best decision for you. those are really my answers about everything financial aid, the basics, how to get started, what you should be thinking about after you've hit submit on your college applications, if not months and years before. Hope you like this new format. May stick with it if I end up, getting good feedback for it. But until next time, don't forget to like the video and hit that subscribe button, and I will talk to you next time.